Greetings, fellow Gravewalkers, and welcome back to another video, and this one, a continuation of the How Each Tribe Affects a Region video, as I was told many times in the comments that I forgot about throne rooms, and to be honest, I agree, throne rooms are a really cool thing that I cannot believe I forgot to include. Especially because they are the focal point of all sieges. That's where they end, and it's a time that you may not spend too long in, but it is definitely a place that you will see and have some very fun moments. So, in honor of that, we are going to be talking about the architecture and designs of every tribe's throne room. So, let's get into it!
You can't win this. I know every move you'll make before you make it. I know how to counter all of your tricks.
I won't need any tricks to beat you.
I'm going to start this where I started the All Overlord Region Effects video, that being with the Warmongers, who I've had a newfound respect for. This throne room really does encapsulate everything that is really Warmonger about the Warmongers, especially the fact that even the throne itself is draped in chainmail and supported by two large blades. It also features the signature studded, little studs on the side of it as well, that is very common with the Warmongers. And I also love the banners. The banners in this room are something that multiple tribes have, but I think the layout of the Warmongers is very purposeful and very cool. I also love the metal plating all down it, and it is very well lit. Some of the other tribes have problems with their throne rooms not really being too well lit. It makes it very dark. All around, I like fighting in here. The torches are also bladed, which, to be fair, they're Warmongers, but they really do have an obsession with putting blades on everything, along with the fact that there's these bins with axes in them, which definitely encapsulates the idea that the Warmongers are ready for a fight at a moment's notice. All around, I like this throne room a lot more than some of them. It's well lit, it's easy to see in, and it has a definite style that the Warmongers encapsulate perfectly.
You are an affront to Mordor itself. Tearing you apart is both duty and pleasure.
It's too bad both will go unfulfilled.
This section of the video was brought to you by my good friend here, Hork Trophy Maker, who is my bodyguard in Lithlad. With all the money he got from being my bodyguard, he built this massive fort for your pleasure. But with that joke aside, seriously though, the Marauders have captured my heart once again. The fact they have actual natural skylighting makes this room near perfect. The glint off all the gold gives it a perfect atmosphere. It's also got some of the most stuff going on in general. It is one of the most overly designed ones, but I think that's to its benefit. It's not like there's nothing to look at here. There's constantly something catching your eye. Whether it be the giant, blazing braziers of fire, the cute little wall sconces, the fact that there's literal gold bars everywhere in here. Literally, they even bedazzled the floor vents in gold. That is how very rich the Marauders really are. I also love the chains hanging down from the walls, made of gold. Again, they're Marauders. What more do you want from them? And their banners are also well placed, just like the Warmongers. There's nothing shabby or half-cooked about this throne room. The Marauders set it up how the Marauders want it. You have chests, you have helmets, you have shields, all which you will see Marauder orcs actually use in combat, depending on the captain, which is something I also love about the Marauders, is the fact that a lot of the gear you see laying around is stuff you'll see their captains actually wielding. It's not just props. It's stuff that you'll see them use. And that's something I actually really love about the Marauders. All around, I think this throne room might just be my absolute favorite. It is just perfect. I know the Marauder style isn't really everyone's, and I totally understand that, right? The Marauders, they're so well put together. They're so amassed with wealth that some people just don't really like it because, you know, they're orcs. But I do really, really like the Marauders, personally. I think they have some of the best fortress designs. Moving on!
All my boys, all my defenses, and they didn't stop you? Why do I have to do all the heavy lifting myself? I hate being the only capable one.
Not capable enough.
If you thought you could escape the choking smoke and smog of a Machine Tribe fort by going indoors, you would be sadly mistaken, as even inside this room, there is coal burnings and whatever metal dust they are smelting getting put into the air, making it quite hard to see, which definitely gets it deduction points, because it's a little too dark. Not as dark as some of the rest that we'll see later on, but the visibility isn't perfect. Beyond that, the throne is made of pipes and all else, with a furnace behind it, which I don't know how an orc can bear to sit on that throne with that heat, but we'll go with it. There is also 2 hanging baskets with fire burning in them. This is the main source of lighting for the middle of the room, which is probably why it's still quite dark. They also have a good amount of banners hanging, though I wish they were more purposefully placed, just like the Marauders and the Warmongers, but I will respect Monolith's attention to detail in the fact that they are blackened with soot from the furnaces. I talked about that in the first video, but I really love that. It just shows how much the Machine Tribe doesn't really care about ruining their own stuff for their innovation. It's very interesting to me. Beyond that, the walls are the same normal Machine Tribe red brick, white marble exterior, and I really wish I knew what they were doing with these pipes. I mean, obviously they're furnaces, but what are they smelting? More metal? Because that's what it seems like. Beyond that, there is these little metal decal things attached to the upper sections, and I don't really know what they're doing there. They just kind of look cool, which, honestly, I agree with. They look pretty cool. The Feral Tribe throne room is immediately better than the Machine Tribe due to one small fact: lighting. Just like the Marauders, they have a singular skylight, which paints the middle of the room in actual sunlight. This is incredibly good, in my opinion. Unlike the Marauders, they don't have the sides of the room, but the middle, where you'll do most of the fighting of the Overlord, is well lit. That is, in my opinion, one of the biggest things. Beyond that, the Feral Tribe again has all of their skulls and bones laden everywhere, with large spines making up the actual, ridges of the roof, which I quite like. Beyond that, there's this massive skull at the back side of the room, which almost looks like a giant warg or Caragor. Now, I have no idea where they would have gotten this skull, just like last time, but it is there. Beyond that, the throne itself is actually a giant pelt of some kind, which just fits the Feral Tribe so very well. There's also human skulls around the throne, which is a little less Feral Tribe, but still equally pretty bony, if you ask me. There's these large rib bones, I think, which make up the backdrop, and the fire behind it is really, really cool. It almost gives you, eldritch old god type vibes when you walk in. You have this massive beast-like head with bones that you're not really sure what to make of. The banners in here, while sparse, aren't too bad, and I quite like the cross banners that they have going across the side middles of the room, or the middle sides of the room. That is something that not a lot of the other tribes have that is very, very neat. There's just giant bones littered everywhere in here. It is the Feral tribe, so I don't know what else I'd expect beyond lots of bones. But, yeah, lots of bones. That's about the Feral tribe, so moving on.
Disgusting man filth! You insult the Dark Lord by stepping foot into my fort!
If you think that's an insult, wait until he sees what I do to you.
I'm very surprised to be saying this about the Mystic tribe, but just like the Marauder and just like the Feral, they have really good lighting actually, with two little skylights right in the roof, supplemented by flames on either side of the room. Honestly, surprisingly well lit for them, considering how the outside of the fort looks with a Mystic Overlord, considering it darkens the room. Beyond that, the walls and almost everything in here are made purely out of bones, and not like the Feral tribe bones, like the classic, flavor of Mystic bones. Because for some reason, they really like using a horrifying architecture. I still don't really know what to make of these bones, if they're real or if they're not. I originally thought they were real, but honestly, I'm getting more and more the vibe that this is really good masonry from the orcs, and that they've just simply carved the bones. Maybe the Mystic tribes are secretly really good masons? Beyond that, I also really like the braziers in this room, kind of looking like giant mouths with teeth. That's something you don't see in any of the other tribes that I really like about this. It's so weirdly off-putting that it fits the Mystic tribe well, and their banners hanging around are decent, though again sparser than the Warmongers, which I think is a shame, considering how cool they look. I'm still sad that Olog won't talk to me, but seriously, this is the Terror Tribe, and I'm actually really surprised I have to give them credit for this. Their banner game is on point. Having 6 banners all in a row right in the center of the room the minute you walk in is so Terror Tribe. It is perfect. It is weird that they surprisingly have good banner game. Beyond that, there is once again dead Graugs hanging from different points around the room, which is quite morbid, but again, Terror Tribe. They also have the cages with skeletons in them, just like the outside, again, Terror Tribe. There's also blood, like, everywhere around the throne room, and it's quite grim, to be honest. It's very grim. The throne itself is that same welded together steel you'll see almost everywhere in a Terror Tribe fortress, and there is bits of gore and bones littered just about everywhere in here. I also find it very neat that painted, I'm assuming, in blood on the walls is their emblem, which is something that is uniquely horrifying about the Terror Tribe, I will say. It certainly fits their disposition. There's also guillotines around, which, again, fits that Terror Tribe disposition. As you can see, I had a hard time getting the camera angle on the on their marks on the walls, but I believe it is in blood, and it is their emblem. That is for sure. All around, the Terror Tribe, while being definitely grim, and I am going to complain about this, it's very dark in here. Admittedly, I understand why, it's the Terror Tribe, but they could do with a bit better lighting. Honestly, it could be worse, but seriously, they need to invest in some skylights.
Let us for a moment entertain the fantasy that you do capture this fortress. There are countless thousands of orcs in Mordor, and every one of them will come for you.
Good. I will need a larger army to take Marauders.
Next up is the Dark Tribe, and even without skylights, it is surprisingly bright in here. It probably has absolutely nothing to do with the giant candle chandelier hanging above the room. That could have nothing to do with it. All around, I really love this Dark Tribe room, to be honest. The massive chandelier is awesome. The hanging banners are possibly the best that any tribe has, with them being very interestingly placed. Like, I love that immediate middle row, followed by the sides being draped. Beyond that, the little fire holders around the room actually look like Barad-dûr and the Eye of Sauron, which is amazing. I love that little detail. It's really funny. The throne itself looks generally uncomfortable, but certainly fits the Dark Tribe, and you have a mask that looks similar to the Man Killer or the Ranger Killer, mask. That's the word I'm looking for. The Ranger Killer mask up on the wall, or the Pureblood or Black Elm Olog masks. Of course, the Black Elm being the one that's actually in this room, making the Overlord, a dark one. Beyond that, I love just everything about this room. It's not as good as the Marauders, in my opinion, but it is a strong contender. It is a very strong contender for being the best throne room. It is that cool to me.
No one intrudes on my throne room. I'll have your head for this.
No, I'll have your throne.
The Slaughter Tribe throne room immediately is the Slaughter Tribe. There is the massive skin mask thing that is on the outside in 3 or 4 different places around the room. As you can see, there's one on the back and 3 on the other wall. Of course, the one on the other wall being the biggest. All around in here, there is just meat and skin and blood and awfulness in here. The Slaughter Tribe is even messier than the Terror Tribe, as where the Terror Tribe is at least somewhat organized in how awful their throne room looks. The Slaughter Tribe has absolutely none of that. There is no organization, simply just death and destruction. Massive cleavers framing the back wall, and the throne itself made of different types of skin, which is, quite frankly, absolutely horrifying. Different Graug head and hands laying around the room, just like the outsides of their towers, and their banners hanging from the ceiling, which would look decent, are tattered and stained with blood, giving it a foreboding and quite scary atmosphere. All around, the Slaughter Tribe definitely encapsulate it, being one of the grossest throne rooms that any tribe has, while still definitely feeling like the Slaughter Tribe. It is just in their DNA to be these horrifying monsters.
Be a dead human!
And last up we have the Outlaws, whose throne room is just as thrown together and in shambles as the outside. There is giant metal plates sitting almost everywhere in here with their bolas and their kind of scrambled together metal or cobbled together metal. Not really looking too great, eaten away and rusted. At this point, it is just the Outlaws' specialty to look like they put it together 5 minutes before the assignment was due and saying hippity hoppity, that's our fortress now, baby. Beyond that, they have their banners hanging pretty nicely. I especially love the little cloth ones up in the corners that are a little more unique. And that big one in the back, it just all around gives that thrown together. They just took over this fort for themselves and they're not sure what to do with it vibe. Like they just got done getting it all prepared before the Gravewalker arrives, sort of deal. It's not super flattering, but it's certainly interesting. I just kind of like it just because of that. The Outlaws are always so glossed over, in my opinion. They didn't really get much intrigue. They could have gotten a lot cooler stuff if Monolith had been allowed to... Well, I'm assuming this was not Monolith's fault. If Monolith had just taken the time to flesh out the Outlaws just a little bit more, I think they could have proven very interesting. So quickly before this video is over, I'm going to tell you all how I got the footage inside the throne rooms. Basically, all I did was take all my war chiefs off of the fort and then did a friendly conquest on myself. And then I would put on the siege upgrade that lets you capture victory points quicker, and I would speed run to the end of the fort. It took me about 4 minutes to get to the throne room of each fort. So not too long to get that footage. In case anyone was wondering how I did it, that is how. And before the end of the video, as always, I have to mention that I have a Fortnite supporter creator code, so if you play Fortnite and are grabbing anything from the item shop, consider using code WreckingBallBlue to support me. And I have another little thing to say. There's going to be a video coming out very soon about updates on this channel, about what I'm going to be changing content-wise. Shadow of War isn't going anywhere and still will be the main staple on this channel, but there is going to be a little bit of different content going on besides Shadow of War, but there will be a little video coming out probably in the next few days talking about that, so if you are interested in it, be on the lookout for that, and be on the lookout for more content being uploaded over on Snapshot, because I think finally Snapshot is going to get the resurrection and love that it deserved for a long time. So, with that, if you did enjoy this video, consider hitting the like button down below because it tells me that you like the video. And if you like what I do, consider subscribing for more. With that, I will see you all next time.